Hi everybody. I want to read from, in your King James Bible, Matthew chapter 26, verse 60. Now, before I get into it, before Christ comes back to gather his church, the two witnesses will appear on the earth. Okay, we'll read that verse very soon. So, reading in chapter 26 of Matthew from verse 60. Now, before Jesus Christ died on the cross and resurrected and then ascended to the throne to sit at the right hand of God, he was accused in this chapter by many witnesses. So I'll just read, actually from 59. Now the chief priests and the elders and all the council sought false witness against Jesus to put him to death, but found none. Yea, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. Right? They found none. And then it says, at the last came two false witnesses. Two false witnesses, right? To accuse Christ as being what? Verse 61, and said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and to build it in 3 days. And the high priest arose and said unto him, answerest thou nothing? What is it which these witness against thee? But Jesus held his peace, and the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living God, that thou tell us whether thou be the Christ, the Son of God. Jesus said unto them, thou hast said, nevertheless I say unto you. Now listen very carefully to his response. Hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power, and coming in the clouds of heaven. Wow. Coming in the clouds of heaven. Okay, that's not the second coming. That is his returning to the earth to gather the worthy saints, the worthy elect, at the rapture, the gathering up event. It says the same in Mark and in Luke, in the same passage, this same story of Christ being brought forth and accused before he is put on the cross. Now, I just think it's amazing that two witnesses were brought, two false witnesses, right? And at the last, verse 60, at the last came two false witnesses to accuse Jesus Christ, God, as not being God, not being the Messiah, not being God. Okay, let's read in chapter 11 of Revelation, verse 3. And this is God empowering this. God is making this happen. And I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days clothed in sackcloth. Right? This again is preceding Christ coming in the clouds. Preceding him, like it says here in chapter 26 of Matthew. Ye shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. At the gathering up event, the rapture. Okay. And now preceding him coming back again at this time, the two witnesses will be there. So we've had two false witnesses accuse Christ before his death and resurrection. And preceding Christ coming back to gather his church, there'll be two true witnesses of God, which God will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260, which is the length of the Great Tribulation. 42 months equals 1260 days equals 3.5 years. Let's flick over to Revelation 13:5, talking about the Antichrist, the first beast that rises from the sea. And it says, if you read the whole chapter from verse 1, the dragon gives him power. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Again, the time of the Great Tribulation. Power was given to him, right? Who gave him this power? And it says in verse 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, which is the Antichrist, the man of sin, son of perdition. And his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him the power and his seat and great authority. The dragon, the devil, Satan, Lucifer, gave him the power. Okay, so we've got one instant instance where God gives power to his two witnesses to prophesy and preach that he's coming soon to gather us up, to gather the worthy elect saints, and that has some small print, very small print, that people need to read if they think they're going. They need to examine their lives to see whether they really will be going anywhere. And then proceeding, the Antichrist continuing for 42 months, the dragon gives him power. So you've got God giving two false witnesses before Christ's death and resurrection. You've got two true witnesses, Moses and Elijah, coming to prophesy for the length of the Great Tribulation. And when that begins, you've got the power of the dragon transferring to the beast man to give him power to continue for 42 months. Well, that's pretty much all I wanted to say on this video. Thanks for listening.